What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the After Effect Podcast Show. I am your host, LeBron Stephen, but you can call me LBZL Boogie, Big Brown B, Ron LB, Bronny. The choice is yours. Welcome to episode 91. We have a very special guest. Don Shumpert is back on the podcast today. Don was on episode 3, and I believe episode 68 with Ephraim Reed. He is a former NFL coach, coaching for the New York Giants in the NFL and also the Arizona Cardinals as an assistant running backs coach. Don is now the owner operator of the sports agency, Show Me Sports Agency. I believe he just got into business this year. So he's made that rare transition from being an NFL coach to an NFL agent. So we are going to tap in with Don just to kind of figure out his matriculation through the process. Why did he want to switch from being a coach to being an agent? A lot of coaches just aren't doing that. They typically stay in one lane. And then, yeah, just continue to try to find out his after effect of that transition from, not being a coach anymore, transitioning into the agent side, but still having all of those agent contacts and so on and so forth. So just sent down the link, and once he jumps on, we will go in.
This stride at the right time. So my hope is
What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm good, bro.
How you doing, man? Good to see you, my brother.
Yeah, you too, man. I'm all good. West
Yeah. How you doing on the West Coast, man?
Smooth, man. Good weather, good vibes.
I'm glad we was finally able to lock it in, man. I know we've been trying to do this for a minute. We both busy.
Yeah, I know, bro. Like, schedule's been crazy, but
I know, man. I know you a new dad, man. Congrats on that. Your little man just turned 1, right?
yeah, just turned one, man. So it's
Okay,
been fun.
okay. Yeah, man. He look just like you.
That's
Okay,
my twin
okay.
for sure, bro.
For sure.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, like I said, man, I won't be too long. I know you was on episode 3, and then I believe I want to say maybe like 66 or 67 with Ephraim, man. So I appreciate you tapping back in. Like I was
For
saying on the
sure.
phone, man, it's been difficult probably in the last year just to book guys. You know what I mean? Just because we all busy, everybody got families, trying to grind it out, trying to provide for their families, man. So trying to jump back in and find different ways that I can still like get episodes out, not necessarily always like interviewing somebody or maybe just talking about sports in general. And mixing it up like that, you know what I mean? But appreciate you carving out the time, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely, man. I get it
So,
100.
man, yeah, for sure, man. So let's talk about, man, just your transition from being an NFL coach to being an NFL agent. Obviously, I believe you was with the New York Giants for a few years, and then assistant running backs coach with Arizona Cardinals for a few years as well, man. So kind of just talk about that matriculation. First off, you know, um, walk us through the steps as far as trying to find work in the NFL, and then what kind of was your deciding factor to say, I think I want to make this unique transition into being an agent? Obviously having all those connections as a coach, but you just don't, me and you have followed football for a long time, former football players, but you just typically don't see that transition from being an NFL coach to an NFL agent. So could just kind of walk us through that, man.
Yeah, for sure, man. Coaching, I love coaching. I still coach to this day. I do like training, youth trainings. I
Mhm.
consult different teams with like playbooks and things of that nature. So I'm always, coach, but I kind of just wanted to coach on my own terms. Coaching was great, but that's all the hours you put into coaching. I
Right.
didn't necessarily see me doing that for the rest of my life.
Hmm.
Moving up, bouncing around, relocating every other year. That
Right.
just ain't really how I seen my life going. So like during COVID, I had got some time where we was actually training the guys, at
Hmm.
home, basically on the computer.
Hmm.
And I was like, it's not bad to work from home. And, you can still be productive or whatnot, but you don't have to necessarily be at the office all day. So,
Right.
they get in my mind. I'm like, man, I got some more time. And all of a sudden, like after the 23 season, we got let go. And, I tried to get back in, but necessarily, I wasn't necessarily trying as hard as I could. If someone was
Okay.
telling me
Okay.
just to go and start your own business. So I had like 6 months left to basically get my degree at Iowa. So I decided to go back, finish my degree, and then I started
Mhm.
studying for the agency test. I think most guys, you probably want to see that transition happen probably again, to be honest with you, because most guys they want to coach for the rest of their life once you get into that profession,
Once you get in, yeah.
and also like a lot of people don't have the business mindset. A lot
Hmm.
of guys are employees, and that's okay. But me, even when I was working in the league, I was working on my other businesses while I was coaching because
Right,
I
right,
just never wanted to rely on one thing. So
right,
it
right.
was
And
something.
go ahead.
No, it was like it was something that just came about when I had just the time. I'm like, how can I maximize my connection and my network and still do something I love, but kind of do it on my own terms? And that's how the agency came about.
Gotcha. So like studying for the test, is it like a study guide or like a book or like, do you go to the library or just kind of research all the different study guides to study and then like kind of speak to like how many questions, how long is the test? Is it a certain percentage that you got to get to pass and all that?
Yeah, it's a tough test. Like it's like trying to basically studying to become like a lawyer or whatnot.
Yeah,
In a
yeah,
sense,
yeah.
you got a lot of different documents they send you.
Uh-huh.
It's based off, you got to study the substance abuse part.
Mhm.
You got to study the contract negotiations, the small details in it, all the different wording. Like
Right.
it's definitely a lot. It's a 3 hour test, 60 questions, and I think you need to score like in the top like 80%, some along
Okay.
the lines.
Over 80%. Yeah, I got you.
But it's definitely can be difficult because the rules change. It goes off the CBA guide, which they create that like every 10 years, the collective bargaining agreement. But
Hmm.
every year, as you see, like it's be different tweaks. So
Right.
if
Every year. Yeah.
yeah, so if you're not really caught up on like what's really going on, you're gonna look at that test and be like, hold on, because they trying,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
a lot of people felt it, to be honest with you. Me working in the NFL, it probably wasn't as tough for me, but I did have to
Okay. Okay.
definitely
So
like
you feel like you was able to lean into your NFL coaching experience.
yeah, for a lot of the
Yeah.
terminology, like the 53-man rosters and stuff, like questions like that, I was just knocking them out the park.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
But
right. Yeah, yeah.
it
That's
was some of
easy
those other
peasy.
questions. It was the other question where, but you got a study guide too, so you can bring your study guide into the
Oh,
test.
nice.
So,
Okay, okay.
I had
And
my
and do they time it? Oh no, you said 3 hours. So 3 hours is the maximum.
yeah, they time, bro. I was
Okay.
finished in like an hour and 5 minutes. Like I was,
Oh wow. Oh
yeah, I
wow.
killed
Okay.
it. But
Okay.
I had the right
I
resources too, though. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that played in
Think
part.
thinking back on it, like you never really had a problem with the grades.
Yeah, nah, thanks. Hey, I figured that part out.
Right, 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 right. Definitely, definitely. Okay, okay. So yeah, like you said, man, I love like the business mindset. Like you were saying with coaches, man, you really got to be like entrenched in that grind, and a lot of times, you got to uproot your family, and what I realize is college and the NFL is like a lot of things are about a lot of those connections are about like relationships. So like if this coach get a job, he gonna hire all his guys and he gonna uproot all his guys there. And so, like you
Right,
said, it could be a lot of moving as you try to like start to build your family and things like that. So I definitely respect kind of that business mindset, like being your own boss, making your own schedule, and figuring out what works for your lifestyle. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
sure.
To the point where you not like, because you know how the coaches used to work. I mean, you was a coach, so I mean, getting to the facility at 5 a.m., 4:30, and not leaving till midnight or
Yeah,
like 11 p.m. Just those super long days
right.
during the end season, and then also having that off season grind, having to go scout and whatever your role entails. Yeah, 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 definitely.
No, I was gonna say it's a lot into it that people don't know about coaching, but it's a lot
Yeah,
that goes into it. So
right, right. And I know in the league, and probably in college, the money is good, but just the work life balance. I mean, there's really no work life balance. Maybe you may have a little bit in the off season, but in
yeah,
season from basically July to January, it's no work life balance.
yeah, it's nothing. You working every day, so
Yeah,
you get a
yeah,
small break in the summertime, like 3-4 weeks to
yeah.
kind
That's usually that's in like July before camp start, right?
of back.
Right, right.
Other than
Yeah,
that, like you
yeah.
going. So
Yeah, I got you. I got you. So, man, show me sports agency. A lot of people, don't really understand like, the steps as far as a business, but I know that you do. So, like, you usually like reserve the name, or you usually got to reserve several different names, and then the state whatever state you in, chooses one. So, what was your inspiration behind Show Me Sports? I know something around St. Louis, or was it something around STL because I saw
Yeah,
that
for
post.
sure.
But
For
how'd you come up with that name? And then, kind of just what was the inspiration behind it?
Yeah, so Show Me Sports. If you're from St. Louis, Missouri is known as the Show Me State.
Right,
And
right. Show
so,
me state. Yeah.
that it's really like if we're not gonna really talk. We just gonna actually
We're
just
gonna show
do
you.
it. Yeah, we about to show you ain't really too much to talk about. And
Okay, I like that.
like being from St. Louis is so different. And I could have just named the sports with the S, but the Z is because like it's different. The leader of this, he has a whole different mindset. He done been through so many different things. And so
Yeah, man.
I just want them to know it's a whole different perspective than what you used to like dealing with,
I
you know.
like that.
And typically everything start from the top. So that's where the whole show me sports came from. It's like
Yeah,
it's been tough and we like it tough. I want them type of guys. I don't
yeah.
want the Cinderellas, the divas. I want the guys that's gonna go
The
get it.
gritty, yeah. The gritty guys, blue collar.
Come on,
Gonna
man.
go,
Those
gonna
the
bring that
guys that
pail
stick.
every day.
Yeah, no question. They stick in the
Yeah.
league, those type of guys. So
Yeah, yeah, and that's the cool part. You would know firsthand, what sticks in the league. So man, I love it because I was thinking about that, like why the Z, but I'm glad you was able to explain that. That's dope, man. So that's a perfect segue as far as using all your NFL connections, like, and I see you posting in the story all the time. Basically shopping guys around or asking the coach to maybe check out one of your clients, man. So kind of a two-part question. Well, you kind of just spoke to it. You're looking for gritty guys. So like, how do you start to scout guys to add to your roster? And then how do you know like what attributes to highlight? When you hit different coaches up, hey, take a look at this guy. This guy's a 53-man roster guy. Hey, this is a good practice squad guy, late round guy. Maybe you do UDFA, undrafted free agent after the draft. What are you kind of looking at as far as like film study or location for a guy, and then how do you identify the attributes from the player to kind of point out to the coaches, all the
yeah,
different coaches that you're friends with?
yeah, for sure. The first thing is just evaluating the film.
Yeah.
But it start with the stats. I got to see how productive you were. Like if you was really productive in college, you got really good film, like you would be a high draft pick, mid high draft pick. Now you
Mm-hmm.
might be a guy or maybe didn't really perform to what you could have performed, but you got a lot of splash plays on your film. When you touch it, you like, oh yeah, this dude can make plays. Those
Yeah.
type of guys are more like your undrafted free agent type of guys, or a guy that dominate at a lower level
Mm-hmm.
and it's not necessarily at a big time FBS level, but he dominated in the FCS. And now all of a sudden, like this guy is going to be a late round draft pick or he might be an undrafted free agent. So the tape kind of tell you everything. And then I like to just talk to my college coaches. I know a lot of college guys. So like hearing their perspective on different dudes that I trust around the
Yeah.
league,
Yeah.
that mean a lot. And then, after I do my total evaluation or whatnot, I might reach out to a couple scouts around the league just to see what type of grade they got on them. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of make that final decision on who I'm going to approach them to. So, but the good thing is I know a lot of people just from working in the NFL for 7, 8 years, or
Yeah.
maybe head coaches, coordinators,
Right.
GMs, you name it,
Right.
position coaches. Like I
Right.
know a lot of people, and the thing about agents, like coaches really don't like agents. That's to be honest with you, like
Right.
that's a real thing. But I got a different perspective. I'm still a coach first, but as a coach, think about it like this: you only really get to affect the players that you coaching, and those really just the guys that starting. If the
Mm-hmm.
guy ain't start, he really ain't trying to hear you. I feel like I got a bigger outreach as an agent. Really
Yeah.
just getting you from a rookie on up to show
Right.
you like what you about to get into. Cause I've been behind them closed doors conversations. Like I know what they talking about. I know what they looking for,
Exactly.
and I know
Exactly.
what's gonna keep you in the lead. So talking to a guy like me, it's just like your agent can't really guide you the way I can guide you because I done
At
been
all.
and
Right.
I just know what it takes. So
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, like you said, like you got that unique perspective being in those coaching rooms, in those coaching meetings, understanding how a facility operates, you know what I mean, in season, out of season, and you have all those contacts. So like because I hear a lot of guys that start agencies have a really tough time getting clients and like you said, they don't really have an inside look, you know what I mean? So it's hard for them to build a clientele or build a roster, and it's hard for their players to trust them because they don't have any relationships with the coaches and like That's why I love the Texas because like so many guys, coaching wise, coaching in the league for 7 to 8 years. So it's like I'm sure you're leap years ahead of like just in year one, just starting versus other guys. Like, cause I mean, I've read a couple articles that take 5 to 7 years for agency really to take off. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so,
for
and
sure.
so as far as since Go Live, since you launched, kind of how you feeling as we approach, the draft and everything. Cause it was today Monday. And so hopefully this episode comes out before Thursday, but the draft is in a few days. So how you feeling about your roster?
Yeah, it's great considering that I'm self-owned. I
Yeah.
didn't sign with an agency. Like most guys, I don't know if anybody can really do like what I did within these couple months. And that's all credit to God, of course, but it's
Hmm.
also credit to my background. Like I do know I would have a couple guys on rosters now. It's just a matter of if it's 90 man or if they rookie, tryout guys. But
Right.
for me to just start in December and to
Hmm.
already, get some guys, like it's
Yeah.
not a bad deal. So I'm kind of fired up for them guys because I really do believe that those guys just need an opportunity, and I think the rest
Right.
will take off. You
Right.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. You really believe that they can make it count?
yeah, for sure, man. So
Yeah.
it's definitely it's a blessing, man, because I was thinking about working for other people and then I was thinking about partnering with other
Hmm.
people, but like I got big news coming like in the next month or so too. Like wait till you hear about this next partnership. Like so me,
Okay.
LeBron, I'm always working, bro. Like
Oh yeah, I already know. I already
yeah,
know, man.
I'm
I
always
already know.
working. So it's
I
a lot
already
of
know.
guys out there, even players, they like, well, they know I got experience, but they thinking since it's my first time doing it, that they want to go with somebody more established. But I'm telling
Right.
you, it's nobody more established than me, bro. Like
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
promise you. They
Not not
see it.
not not knowing NFL coaches and getting like a real true grade on a guy. Like most
Yeah.
guys, they can't just text an NFL coach and say, "Man, what's your grade on this guy? Like what you think about his year last year?" Like they don't have that inside look from no coaches usually.
Yeah, for nobody. Like I said, the coach is trying to run away from the agent. So they can tell
Right.
you that they got all these contacts, man. They don't
Right.
look, them contacts are handed down contacts. The
Exactly.
contacts I gotta actually contact the people I work with. They know my face, they know my family. So it's a
Exactly.
little different. You feel me?
Exactly. And those guys see your name and be like, okay, let me respond down. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
because
it's
you know how
it's
hard it is.
it's a personal relationship.
Yeah, it's a personal relationship. Like it's
Yeah,
hard to get
yeah.
that regular response. So you think a coach gonna respond to just an agent saying, "Hey, look at this guy"? Man, hell, no,
Exactly.
it ain't working like that.
Exactly.
You know?
And what I also think is big is a lot of agents try to like paint like the glitz and glamour of having an agent and money and all these kind of things. But since you as a coach, you can keep it honest. You can keep it 1,000 with the guys, and especially if they're a potential late round or undrafted free agent or a mini camp invite guy, like you can keep it completely honest. And also, once they get those opportunities, you can tell them what to look for when they get in the building,
Right.
sitting in the front of the meeting rooms, like asking questions, how to operate at each practice, especially those minicamp invite guys, because you only and I never got a minicamp invite, but I know you got a few of them. So how to shine in those practices, like what drills to shine and how hard you got to go, like how you got to prep your body, if you just have that weekend, or if you're undrafted free agent, you have the weekend, and then you have the actual mandatory minicamp in June, like how to
Right.
shine, you could get that true inside look from a player aspect and a coach.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what
Yeah,
make it totally different, man. Because all of these organizations, they all operate the same. And it is really off
right,
of production, but it's also about how you carry yourself in that locker room too. So if you find a way to produce and carry yourself right in the locker room, around
right,
the building, you get people to start liking you, man, you'll be stuck. It'll be hard for them to let go of you.
right.
And so anything you do, it's a way you got to do things. And the
Mm.
NFL is definitely a way you got to do things because they'll let go of you in a heartbeat now. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, I know that. Or I mean, and I know like if you late to meetings and late to workouts and all that, they fine you. It's not like college where you gotta like, excuse me, like where you gotta like do rows or something like that. They just fine you in
yeah,
the NFL.
for sure. They just let me get
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Man, I got two more questions. Now we both know. I mean, we've been through it. I haven't been through the NFL part, but I think in all sports, it's politics in all sports. College is a lot different now than when we play. They got the NIL. These dudes they got, they driving Benz trucks and like, they getting real money now, which I'm super happy for. You know what I mean? Everything has changed that way. But coaching in college and coaching in the league, which level would you say had more politics? Like which level was kind of like more political as far as just evaluations on guys, how guys moved in the locker room, maybe even like different guys that different information that got back to the coaches with like certain people that guys hung with, like which one, just being in both of those rooms for years, which level would you say was more political, or was they both kind of the same?
I would say they both have similarities. I was only in college for 2 years, and
Yeah,
this was
GA.
before the change. I would say that for sure the NFL definitely it's definitely political. You know, it's more or less who you know. That's I mean that's how the world operates.
Mm-hmm,
But if you're
mm-hmm.
in that good circle, you will always have a job. It's
Right.
definitely a good circle. But as far as I guess college, you gotta babysit a little more, so you might have them more conversations about like who he hangs with. You're like NFL, like long as you're not getting in trouble, they really don't trip off who you hanging with. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
of course, people want to of course they want to have some camaraderie with the team or whatnot, but
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like when you all work with the league, you kind of just done. So I would say from a job standpoint, NFL, but just from an
Mm.
everyday standpoint, college.
Nice, nice. I love it. Last question, man. Just kind of like a 5 year goal, man. Where do you see show me sports agency in the next 5 years? I know you just getting started. We are almost in May, so you have you've been operating for coming up on 5 months, man. Where do you see your agency going in 5 years, man?
Yeah, for sure. We gonna first start with the football side, continuing growing with good people. I'm starting an internship. I want to say next month. I'm gonna have about 3 people on board. I
Okay,
have
intern.
like over 50 people like send me applications. So it's a lot of interest.
Oh
This
wow, nice.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So a lot of people like what I'm doing. They like what I'm seeing. So really just starting at that, growing with the right people as far as inside the business, recruiting the right people. And eventually, I wanted to be bigger than football. That's why it's called Show Me Sports. But,
Mhm.
starting off, we gonna definitely premiere in football, but I want to eventually get to other sports, baseball, grow my coaches division in football. So I definitely see it being bigger than just a football agency, but
Nice.
it's more or less I just want to be there with guys every step throughout the way. And then
Mhm.
especially when they get done playing, like just making sure they know that they good because they was set up well while they was playing, because that's the key thing. And that's why a lot of
Right,
guys, either go broke or they don't really understand what's next because they kind of blew everything when they was playing. Never had a
right.
plan set in place. Never really had nobody to tell them like what's real about this. And
That's
most
real.
agents probably just suck up to people like the fans, and they don't need to hear that. They need to hear what's real because
They
the
need to hear the
reality
real,
is
yeah,
once these pads come out, bro, nobody cares about you. And
at
that just
all,
is what it is, bro. Like,
at all.
I mean, you can attest to that.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. You a regular, law-abiding citizen. Nobody care. Nobody care. You used to be the man in high school. Nobody care. You was the
Yeah,
man in college. Nobody
yeah,
care about that. What are you doing now, and how can you help them is really all that matter. But man,
for
I
sure.
love that. Like, not only are you an agent, but an advisor. You know what I mean? Trying to advise guys on how to be financially responsible and just make good decisions and all of that.
Yeah, for sure. It all comes with that, the mentorship, all of it, man. And really being somebody they can just vent to. Because, as brothers, young black man, young, even
Mm,
white man, it don't even matter the race. We don't have enough people where we can just open up and talk to. And so for
right.
me, I understand what you're going through. Like,
Exactly.
you pissed off, call me, bro. Like, we can talk.
Hmm.
Like,
Right.
I get it. You should be playing. You want to be playing.
Hmm.
You on the bench right now, but it's for a reason. And how
Right.
can we capitalize while we here instead of just coming to practice pouting and stuff? That's how most guys want, they want to come.
Right. 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 And it's big, because for this generation now, they don't really like necessarily listening to guys unless, that person has, walked that same path. And so if you're going through the football politics or you're not playing or you're not getting no reps, usually, you call your parents telling them that, and neither one of them play sports. It's like,
Right.
oh, well, hang in there, baby, or like, like they don't really know what to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's a different thing, getting advised by somebody like yourself, where like you've been on both sides as a player and as a coach, so you understand both sides, and you could just give it to them real, like you know what I mean, and they don't have a choice but to accept that because it's coming from somebody who walked that path.
For sure, bro. And that's
Yeah.
all I know is the real part. So
Right.
the authentic part, in the next 5 years, you will see how far I surpass people just off me
Yeah.
being authentic, bro. Because I
I'm
only know
already knowing.
the thing. And I
Yeah.
even tell, like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. Like, that's just
Yeah.
me. I'm a straight shooter. and hopefully
Exactly.
you
Gotta
listen to
be.
the advice I give you, but it's all coming from a place of love, you feel me? And that's where it
For
starts.
sure. Exactly. So, man, you say you have 50 applicants. What are some kind of like main attributes that you're looking for from interns? I know they were saying a lot of interns now, some pay, some don't. But obviously, I'm sure you're looking for somebody that's hungry, eager to learn, coachable. What's some attributes that you're looking for your interns?
Yeah, somebody they has a good sports background,
Mm-hmm.
understands the sports business, willing to grow, want to learn, not
Mm-hmm.
afraid to know. In this business, you will receive a lot of no's. So, you
Right.
got to have some type of self-confidence in yourself. And I
Mm-hmm.
just want somebody that know how to produce. Like at the end of the day, I'm all about production, execution. So if we
Exactly.
got the assignment done, we need it done. I just need somebody that can execute it.
That can
It's
get it
really
done.
not
Yeah.
it's not too big of a, I don't want people to paint the picture too big, it's really just executing the small things that I tell you to do,
Right.
and I think from that standpoint we can grow together. I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
for people that want to grow with me and eventually, they could become paid opportunities.
Okay. Man, that's great. Well, good luck to those 50 applicants. I'm sure you're gonna pick the right people, man. So where can people can go to what? Showmesports.com and Show Me Sports on Instagram to
Yeah,
find
so
you.
on Instagram, or you can just type in www.showmesports with a Z.com, and
.com.
and then you can email it over if you got any interest. But I'll be start looking at it next week after the draft. So
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, one last thing I always gotta in the pod, our last two episodes, you spoke to the after effect of your playing career. At the time you were still a coach, man. So now that you're an agent, and obviously you still train and coach, it looks like younger players. So you still get that coaching out some way, other than your clients. What would you say the after effect was of your 7 year NFL, coaching experience? I mean, you coached some really great players. You coach with some really great coaches. You traveled the world domestically and internationally, for games and things of that nature, man. What was just some of the lessons that you learned from being an NFL coach and being a GA for 2 years that you learned and that you will continue to carry with you being an agent? Because, as you know, every step of life that we take, we pull things, from those experiences and take them with us into our next journey.
yeah, for sure, that's a great question, man. The number one thing that I realized is it really don't matter how good a person is. The person that's gonna stick is the person that outworks everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get to a certain point, everybody really is talented, especially in the NFL. I mean, it's
Yeah.
talent galore. I
Right.
mean, you
Yeah.
name it, everybody talented, but
Top of
that
the
guy that's
top.
gonna put in the extra work after practice, the guy
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna get up early and study film, the guy that's gonna take care of his body, kind of the LeBron James type motto, stay out of
Right.
trouble.
Right.
The guy that can really do that for the longest, that's gonna be the guy that can stick it out. Now, I didn't seen a lot of really talented, good players that could have been some of the best players to ever play, but the mindset was corrupt and they couldn't think. They thought they was bigger than the game. They all of a
Mm-hmm.
sudden got paid and got content.
Mm-hmm.
Certain stuff like that happens, and you from the outside looking in, you like, bro, if somebody paid me this much money, bro, I'd be going hard as hell. But you
Right.
actually, like, you actually see it like change people. So
Yeah. Yeah. You see it in real time. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. So it's more or less staying that same person, being that same hungry individual.
Right.
That's how you really, really, come out at the top in anything you do. And so that's what I really take as being a hungry person, no matter how successful you get. Just
Mm-hmm.
keep finding something you can get better at.
Yeah, yeah, man, I love that, man. Well, Shunt, man, I appreciate you carving out the time. I know you're super busy, man. Salute on your new agency, man. Salute on all your entrepreneurial endeavors. I know you got the real estate. You don't really talk about that.
But yeah, that's what
Hey,
keeps me
hey, keep
afloat.
Hey, right. I'm already knowing, man. I'm trying to tap into that right now, man. But yeah, man, salute to you, bro. Like, it's always respect, always love. For a long time now. As we get older, man, shit, I'm pushing 40. So, man,
Yeah, for
salute, man.
sure.
I appreciate you supporting, man. And yeah, we'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Love, man. Thanks for having me on, bro. And
All right, bro. Appreciate
all
you.
right, yes, sir. Take
All
care,
right,
my
peace.
dude.
Yeah, guys. I mean, I thought, getting done back on the show, man, just to talk about, his matriculation from being a NFL coach for 7 years to now being an NFL agent. We got the NFL 2025 NFL draft coming up here just in a couple days. So, man, just love to always hear Don's perspective on things, man. He's a successful businessman and entrepreneur as well. So great to have Don on the show. Okay, guys, the AfterEffectShow.com. The AfterEffectShow.com. I got some of these hats left now. These sold out really quickly. So now I know that, when I get some more hats in production, I got to get more black ones. But go to the AfterEffectShow.com. Still got a couple hats left. Still got some t-shirts left. Still got some magnets left. Thinking about, maybe discounting those items to get the inventory, get rid of the inventory, and try to get ready to order another inventory, another round of inventory and stuff, man. So visit the AfterEffectShow.com. Subscribe to the LeBron Daniel TV. If you like watching your podcast, subscribe to the After Effects Show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you like to listen. And yeah, just continue to rock with us, man. Got some new things going on the pipeline. If you listen to this whole episode for about the last year and a half, been having a more of a kind of a difficult time booking guys. Everybody's busy. People got families, and guys got to work and provide for their families. So trying to figure out ways that I can still pump out episodes and stay consistent and get out 52 a year, at least one every week. And maybe not always having guests on, just kind of talking about some of the current events that's going on right now in sports, whether that's football, basketball, tennis, track, in the summer, baseball, sports like that. So thinking kind of something of a rebrand to try to stay consistent and pump out episodes. Because as we know in the podcast world, you got to stay consistent and pump out that content. So until next time, peace. Subscribe to LeBron Daniel TV, but you already knew that, where we dig deep and find our hustle, and every single day we are better than yesterday. Subscribe.